Hello everyone. Let me see. Great, the live is visible. Hi everyone, how are you all doing? I'm your Aditi Mam. And today, bacha, we are going to see some very important NCERT questions and numericals from the chapter Exploring Mixtures and Their Separation. Now, a lot of you guys have attended the one-shot session, right? So, I am expecting that you know these questions and NCERT numericals as well, okay? At least that was there in the one-shot. Right, so make sure if you want to do this in a depth, you can go watch that one shot as well. Ma'am, next week monthly test. Oh, July. Okay, which chapters are coming? Let me know. Then we'll try to complete all those. Okay, all of you who have monthly tests, let me know all the chapters you guys are having in your monthly test, school tests, so that we can complete them in here as well. Okay, it's showing some noise. Wait, yep, better. Okay, now everyone, let me know, and then we will start this session. Okay, now this session is going to be very important because we will see some of the very important topics, a little bit of topics first. Okay, and then we will look into a very important numericals and some of your unsolved questions of your NCERT. Okay, yes. Mixtures and separation up to types of solutions, ma'am. Okay, great. Then that's not much. You don't have separation part, right? That's easy. First, you attend this live session. Okay, you understand what's happening. We are doing all the questions and answers as well. Okay, and then you can go watch the one shot as well. There I have explained everything in detail. Okay, everyone else who also has their monthly tests, do let me know. Okay, and all of you, a humble request from your Aditi Mam, like the session and make sure you subscribe the channel. Okay, like the session fast. Okay, now bacha, let's start this very interesting chapter, that is your mixtures and separation. Okay, now what is a mixture? We have studied that, right? What are mixtures? We have already studied that. Now we studied about homogeneous mixtures, we studied about heterogeneous mixtures. So mixtures are basically two or more substances physically blended together, right? So those are basically called mixtures. We studied about homogeneous mixture, we studied about heterogeneous mixtures, what are their differences, then we study about solutions, right? And then we will study about colloidal particles and suspensions as well. Okay, now until there, if you have any doubt, do let me know or give me a thumbs up so we can move ahead to the questions that we are going to do today. Okay, now before doing these questions, we have three very important things that you need to study first, so that you can do the questions in a better way, in a way that you actually understand. Okay, now beta, in solutions there is a very important thing that I always tell my students, that whenever you make chai, whenever you make literally anything, lemon or rice or anything, how much quantity of it you have to make is your first question, right? Whenever someone asks you to make, let's say, rice, so I always ask, how much do you want, or for how much people do you want? So that is what? That is the amount of substances I need, right? The amount of things I need to prepare something. Now in that rice as well, I will have a concentration in amount, right? Maybe 1 glass of rice, and in that I'll put 2 glasses of water, and in that I'll put 1.5 that tablespoon of salt, then a little bit of red chili if I want, or some other spices if I want, some turmeric. So all those makes what? We are talking about how much of all these substances. Whenever you say put salt, you say how much? How many spoons of salt? So that is what? That is concentration of salt, right? And that is what we are going to study today in solutions. This is all I talked about cooking, right? So that you can relate. Now we are talking about solutions. Now first of all, solution is a something in which it's basically two solutions, right? We have two things, solute and a solution. Hi Malesh. Hi Malesh, how are you? Ansh is saying hi to Teja. Okay, so today we are studying about solutions, right? Now we know that solution has two things in it. One is solute, one is solvent, right? Now bacha, solvent is something which is more in quantity, solute is which is something less in quantity. Basic difference. Solute is what we dissolve in that solvent and the final product is solution. Done. Now based on that bacha, we have three kinds of methods that we can use to get their concentrations. Okay. Yes Malesh, I remember. I will do that, but I also remember that you are in 10th class. Today we have 9th class live. If you want to crisp your concepts again, most welcome. Okay, now beta, these solutions, the concentration of solute in a solution, the concentration of salt in a salt water solution, the concentration of sugar in a sugar and water solution, the concentration of chalk, no, chalk is not a solution, that is something else, that is suspension, right? So we study all these things. We study the mass of volume of salt inside the solution. Now we have three things. Understand it very carefully. Okay. Now beta, first is mass by mass percentage. What does that mean? Basically, you have solute and solvent in a solution, right? So how much solute is there in a solution measured in the form of grams? Meaning, how much gram of salt is there in my salt solution? Total salt solution, including salt and water, the whole solution, how much salt is there, right? How much salt, how much sugar is there, how much grams of sugar is there in my sugar solution, right? Then we have mass by volume percentage, right? Now here, solute is also taken in grams and solution. That means when we are talking about sugar solution, I am not measuring its volume, that it is 1 liter or 2 liters or 1 ml, 2 ml. I am talking about its weight of that whole solution. Once, ma'am, I will leave, ma'am, please. Okay, what's your name? I remember your name is something else, so tell me your name, okay? Then we have mass by volume, right? M by V percentage. What is that? The solute in grams and solution, the whole solution including the solute measured in milliliters. Done. Okay, then we have volume by volume. That means the solute, that means we measured the volume of salt this time. Here we measured the mass of salt, right? Here we measured the volume of salt, that is milliliters, and solution is also in milliliters. This is called M by M percentage, right? This is called what? M by V percentage, and this is called V by V percentage. Okay, everybody understood? Give me a thumbs up. Everybody understood? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, Shrikar, here you go. This is the name of a very bright student we have from class 10th yesterday that gave the answer to all the questions. Okay, now bacha, let's dive into some of the very important numericals, right? Okay, let's do the first numerical first and then we'll go back to solubility. Okay, or let's do solubility first. Let me see. Solubility. Okay, there is some blunder here. Okay, I'll teach you the solubility curve, then we'll move back to those questions. Okay, now beta, whenever Yes, thank you, Malesh. Okay, now beta, these are some of the kind of questions, these are NCERT questions, and exact same type of questions will come on your examination. Maybe the values will be different, but today we are doing NCERT questions. And make sure you subscribe the channel and you like the session first, and then subscribe the session, so that we will understand lots of repeated questions, lots of PYQs as well. Okay, now coming back to this numerical. See, in my class we have a rule that we write as we read. Okay, so first of all we are going to write what is given in this equation, right? If 10 gram of salt, what is given? 10 gram of salt is given. 10 gram of salt is dissolved in 90 grams of water, and we are given with 90 grams of water. That is my H2O, right? Calculate the mass by mass percentage of the solution formed, right? So we have to find mass by mass percentage of solution, obviously. Okay, so we have to find the mass by mass percentage of the solution. Understood everyone? Understood everyone? Okay, so we'll go very slowly. These are NCERT questions, so you know how to solve these questions. Also, you know how to present these questions, because all these things won't be given in your NCERT. Not everyone will tell you this, but your Aditi Mam will. Now, moving on to what color should we use for solution. Okay, now bacha, for solution, what is the first thing you have to do? Ma'am, I have to find mass by mass percentage. Now the first thing I will do, I will write the formula of mass by mass percentage, and that is what you have to remember. Okay, everything else will fall in place. You just have to remember this small formula. Okay, that is what? Mass by mass percentage is simply bacha mass of your solute, mass of solute in grams, okay, divide by mass of what? Solvent or solution? Mass of what? Solvent or solution? You tell me. This in division, the mass of solvent or solution. So ma'am, we know you made it very clear that here we don't talk about solvent. We don't talk about the person who takes so much space, right? So we talk about the overall thing, the overall team. The team is salt and water mixed together. So we talk about salt because they are a minority, okay, in this solution, and we talk about the whole solution, okay? So mass of solution, mass of solution, and that too again bacha in grams, and since it's a percentage, so we multiply it with 100. Understood? Understood? Any doubt in this whole equation, in this whole thing? Done. Now what? Now we just put values. But ma'am, wait, let's understood what is solute. Solute is, ma'am, what is less? Simply salt. So solute is my salt. This is salt. But what is the mass of solution? Because here is why I wanted you to remember that solution is combination of salt and water. Because for solution we have to add these two. This is solute, right? This is solute, and this is solvent. This is solvent, but we need what? We need solution. Ma'am, we need solution. Okay, so what we do, we don't take just 90 gram. We take solution, and what is the mass of solution? Mass of solution, bacha, will be, let me write it on the next page. Okay, now see, mass of solution, let me know in the chat, what is the mass of the solution? Fast. So mass of the solution, and how you write? See here. Okay, that is mass of salt, that is your solute, right? Mass of solute plus, oh, there is an extra bracket here, plus mass of what? Mass of your solvent. Mass of your solvent, which is what? Which is water, right? Understood this whole formula? Understood this whole formula? Great. Now mass of salt given is what? It is 10 gram. This is 10 gram is given, plus mass of solvent, that is given as 90 grams. So total mass of solution will be what? It will be 100 grams. Done? It will be 100 grams. Now we just put these values back in that formula. What is the formula? Mass of solute. Mass of solute is 10 gram. This is given, remember. Mass of solute 10 gram. Mass of solution we just found out. We found out that is, it is 100 gram. So this is 100 grams into, this is the percentage, right? Into 100. So this becomes what? This cancels out and we have the answer as 10%. Right? We have the answer as 10%. Understood, everyone? Hi everything. Hi Chitranjan. How are you guys doing? You understanding everything? Done? You understood this question, and for the most important part, you understood how we did this question. And now this here, how you have to write the answer. Look at that. For the answer, bacha, you have to clearly see 10 m by m percentage, because that is how the teacher will know that this is mass by mass percentage, right? And not mass by volume or volume by volume. Okay, done. So this is mass by mass percentage. Okay, now let's move on to a very important, again a different kind of numerical. Now you read it and you let me know if you understand this or not, if you understand it, and if you know, if you now know what to do in this question or not. Okay, let's read it together. If 5 gram of glucose, okay ma'am, let's start writing. We are given with, okay, let me just change the color. So we are given with what? We are given with 5 gram of glucose. 5 gram of glucose. Done. And we are given with is dissolved in water to make 100 ml of solution. We have 100 ml of solution. So now this is what? 100 ml of solution, right? So see carefully, this is now volume. This is volume. However, this is mass, right? This is mass. So this is M and V question. Hello ma'am, remember me? I am Arambhya and I used to study from you in class 10th. And at the end of the I came and said you, I don't know. Yeah, I remember, and I remember your name as well, Virat Paglu. Yes, hi Sanjana. Hi Sanjana, how are you? Welcome to the channel, Sanjana. You are new here and we are also starting the new chapter here. So you are at a very good time. You have arrived. Okay, so make sure you subscribe the channel, and we are coming live every day. We are doing so many questions. All of these are NCERT questions at this moment, okay, because we are just starting the session. And I know you need a little bit of guidance. Even though NCERT has solved those questions, we don't understand what they have done in that, right? Okay, Virat Paglu, did you pass the final question I have for you? Okay, let's do the questions. Give me a thumbs up, everyone. Give me hearts, give me thumbs up, so that you let me know that you all are ready. Make sure you have your pen and paper, because in Aditi Mam's class, we practice in such a way that you never forget. Okay? Yes, of course. Okay, let's start with our second question. Now read the question first very carefully, okay? 5 gram of glucose is dissolved in water. So just understand the first line. We have studied that solute is something that dissolves. So glucose is what? Glucose is my solute, right? Glucose here is my solute, because that is dissolving, right? In water, okay, so water is a solvent. Water is now a solvent, but the final thing that made after combining these two is our solution, right? That's basic, that's clear. And they are given to make 100 ml of solution. Now this volume is of solution, not just of water. So this is solution, not just the solvent. Understood? Okay. This sign, I just don't understand this sign of you guys. What is this, gangster? Okay, done. So this is what is given to us. Now we need to find what we need to find. Read carefully. Calculate its concentration in mass by volume percentage. So we have to find, we write properly, okay, we have to find mass by volume percentage. That means M by V percentage. So how many of you can give me the answer? If you know, give me a thumbs up, and then I will wait for the solution from you guys, or just tell me the formula for now. Recap. Sanjana, right? So beta, we just started with the solution today because we are doing NCERT questions, okay? So for that you just need a solution. We know solution consists of solute and solvent, right? So we have three methods to measure the solute in a solution, right? That is mass by mass percentage. That means the solute is also in grams, the solution is also in grams. So if you have a salt solution, the salt is solute, the water is solvent, and the whole thing is solution. So salt is also in grams, the whole solution, water plus salt, both are also in grams, right? Then beta, we take mass by volume. That means now salt is still in grams, but the water we took and the final solution we measured in milliliters. Okay, and similarly V by V percentage. The salt, we also already measured the volume of salt. We will see in further classes how we do that, but we measure the volume of salt, and we can measure the volume of water, and the salt in water is the volume that we can measure, right? So this is the recap, and we are doing questions now. Okay, we are done with mass by mass percentage. Now we are doing mass by volume percentage, and you let me know if you guys can tell me the formula of M by V percentage. Can you tell me the formula? Jane, Parek, verify you are human. I mean, why still Robert search? Yeah. Sure. That's just a protocol to keep the websites private and secure, right? Cyber security stuff. Okay, now everyone understood. Now you give me the formula of mass by V percentage. Okay, I'll write it down. Mass of solute. See, in the numerator we always have solute, right? What we have? We always have solute, be it the mass of solute or volume of solute. Right? Now, in the denominator, see, in mass by mass percentage, we had mass of solution, but this is mass by V percentage, right? Mass by V percentage. So here we'll use V for volume, right? So we have volume of solution, and in the denominator we will always have solution. Beta, in +1, in the first chapter only, in your 11th P1, whatever you call it, the first chapter you will study about this here, that you will have solvent, but for right now you don't have all that hodgepodge, and you just have solution. Okay, what I don't know. Okay, this is the formula. Okay, understood? Why is it M by V? Because now glucose is in grams, so solute have we taken mass, and the solution, the glucose in water, when we dissolve the powdered glucose in water, it becomes a solution. So we measure the volume of that solution, not the mass. Okay, so volume of that whole solution, glucose plus water. This is glucose plus water, right? So the volume of this whole solution is 100 ml. So in denominator we have volume of solution. Understood now? Understood? Okay, now let's just put the values, nothing else is left. Mass of solute is 5 gram. We are given with that mass by V percentage. We are given with mass of solute is what? Mass of solute is 5 grams, right? This is 5 grams. Divide by, we have volume of solution, that is 100 ml, right, into 100 because of the percentage. So this cancels out. We get 5 m by V percentage as our final answer. Okay, everyone, as our final answer. Okay, understood? If you have any doubt, ask quickly. You have 10 seconds. Okay, fast. Okay. Okay, great. Now, let's move on to the next question, should we? Super, ma'am. Great. Now, the next question, beta, is for... Yeah, so what? Anamika? So what? Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. Oh, we have a question from separations. Okay, let's do it. Let's do this question first. Yes, let's do this question first and complete our y into 100 came. Beta, 100 is for percentage, right? So whenever we have to find some percentages, okay? Yes, you have to find the percentage of error. Okay, we will find a lot. So what do? You multiply it with 100 because of this percentage, because we have to find percentages. Okay, that's the thing. That's why percentage is there. Okay. Okay, let's now move on to the very last of this kind of numericals. Let's study what they have asked and let's solve it then. Okay, now if 1 ml of a liquid pesticide, okay, lots of information. First is 1 ml of a liquid pesticide. So what is given? Ma'am, given is simply 1 ml, okay, of pesticide. Now this pesticide, bacha, it is what? 1 ml dissolved in sufficient with a sufficient amount of water to form a 100 ml of a pesticide spray. Now this 1 ml and this is 100 ml. So 1 ml is obviously our solute, right? So this is your solute and we can clearly see volume is given, right? Volume is given. So I will write here that volume is given. See, what I suggest you to write everything down. Okay, you are my favorite. Okay, I like your teaching ways, how you interact with students. Thank you so much. It's all for you, beta. You are also interacting with me, right? So I'm just reciprocating. Okay, now beta, with a sufficient amount of water to form 100 ml of the pesticide spray. Now see, whenever these questions are coming, they are not saying 100 ml of water, they are saying 100 ml of the final pesticide spray. When you put pesticide in water, the whole thing became pesticide spray, and that is what? That is a solution, right? So we have 100 ml of pesticide spray, right? And this became with by mixing pesticide plus water, right? So this is what? This is a solution, right? This is a solution. Here water is what? Water is your solvent, right? This pesticide is your solute and this pesticide spray, beta, it is your solution, right? Hi, Cricket India. Okay. Now, beta, they have asked us to calculate its volume by volume percentage. So we have to find, now we found mass by mass percentage, mass by volume percentage. Now we have to find volume by volume percentage. See how they are giving you more and more work, but then you have to do it. You have no option. Okay. Now, can you form the formula of V by V percentage from the previous M by V percentage, or your this M by V percentage, or your mass by mass percentage? Can you give me the final formula for V by V percentage? Any one of you who knows the final formula for V by V percentages? Okay, great. Let me know if you are understanding this, if you have any doubt. I'm here to solve those, okay? No worries. Okay, great. So, just like we did the earlier formulas, the numerator will have what? Always it will have solute, that's for sure, and the denominator will always have solution. Now that's for sure. But here what is given? Volume is given. Here also what is given? Volume is given, right? So we cannot write mass if mass is not given, right? So that is volume of solute, then we have volume of solution. Done. And both of these should be in ml into beta 100 before for the percentage. Okay. Volume of pesticide by volume of pesticide spray. Very good, very good. Hi Teja, of course I remember you. You can trust this man. She is very good teacher. मुझे बोर्ड से कुछ दिन पहले कुछ नहीं आता था, but I attended her marathons and I scored good in science. Great. Thank you so much, Virat Paglu. That's a good thing, and it's all your, how do you say, efforts. Okay. Volume pesticide by volume pesticide spray. Great. Okay, now pesticide is what? Our solute, and solution is what? Our pesticide spray. So I forgot the name, sorry. Sanjana, was it? Yes. So you are right. So what is the volume of solute? Solute is what? Pesticide, that is 1 ml. So V by V percentage will be volume of solute, that is 1 ml, divide by volume of solution. Solution is pesticide spray and it is given in volume. How much is the volume? 100 ml. Divide by 100 ml. For percentage we multiply 100 and then we cut this and we get 1 percentage. Not just percentage, we have to write V by V percentage. V by V percentage. Now that is your final answer. Okay, understood everyone? Okay, your senior is here to give you best wishes. Wishes. Okay, great. Now, basically, we are done with all the numericals, all the given numericals in NCERT, the solved ones. That is your mass by mass percentage, mass by volume percentage, volume by volume percentage. If you have any doubt in this, do let me know. Okay? Yeah, great. Hi, yes ma'am, live. Hi, Sushant. Sorry. Okay, done. Let's just do a very kind of a twisty question of your NCERT, and that is not that is not solved. Yes, this is an unsolved question of NCERT. Unsolved NCERT question. So you tell me if you know how to solve this question or not. Okay. Oh really, Sushant? No. Okay. Hi Preeti, how are you? Okay, let's read this question. Vinegar, used as a food preservative and additive, contains 5% of V by V acetic acid. So, listen to this and write this very carefully. That's a little bit tricky, not hard, just a point of trickiness, hint of trickiness. Okay, so we have, now they are saying this vinegar is made up of 5% acetic acid. It contains 5% V by V. Wait, 5% V by V acetic acid. Done. Now they are saying glacial acetic acid is a liquid. Now it's the another part. They're saying there is a thing called glacial acetic acid. It's a liquid. That is, it contains 100% of acetic acid. We have glacial acetic acid, and this has 100% acetic acid. That means it is the whole. It is just there to confuse you, nothing else. Okay. Hey junior, study well in starting to score well. When you study from starting by Aditi Mam, it will become easy for future. For features, understand students. Okay. You have good advice from Teja, everyone. Make sure you use that. Okay. Now these two things are given. Okay, all your attention should be here now. Now, if you want to make vinegar from glacial acetic, if we want to make vinegar from glacial acetic, see, this is 100% acetic acid, but in vinegar we only need 5% V by V of acetic acid. Okay, now if you want to make vinegar from glacial acetic acid, how would you proceed? Now this is something tricky. Do you know how to proceed? Now for this bacha, understand this, right? Everyone understand. If don't, ask Aditi Mam. Okay. Okay, now beta, look at this, something like this. Okay, you have glacial acetic acid. Okay, you have glacial acetic acid, and there is no water in it. There is no H2O in it. It's simply 100% acetic acid. This is acetic acid. Okay, now you want to make another solution, that is your vinegar. Okay, this is also a solution, that is your vinegar, right? But in vinegar, acetic acid is only 5%. Acetic acid is only 5% of acetic acid, and the rest is what? Rest is beta water. Okay, here you have no water. Here you have only 5% of acetic acid with remaining as water. Okay, we have answer as 5% divided by 100 into 100. Okay, let's see. There is a small mistake in this, nothing else. Small mistake. Not even small mistake. Okay, let's see. You just have to learn how to write it better. Other than else, everything is good. Okay, so this is what you have to do. This is what's given to us. 100% acetic acid, no water, and we have to convert this into 5% of acetic acid, and the rest, that means 95% of the solvent should be water. Okay. Hi, good evening Ram, how are you? Now what you will do, see, what we want is 5% of acetic acid. Okay, so we want 5% of acetic acid, right? And this 5% is V by V. So we have volume of solute divided by volume of solution into 100. Now this is what? V by V percentage, right? This is V by V percentage. This is equal to 5%. Understood? Okay. Tomorrow we will have SST class, Teja. Okay? Hi Preeti. Okay, done. Now beta, this solute is what? This is glacial acetic acid. Glacial acetic acid is our solute. We have so much of it, but we need a little bit of it, but we don't know how much we need it, right? So we'll write it as simply this volume of glacial acetic acid divided by, now volume of solution, whenever you see 5%, what does that mean? It means 5 divided by in 100 ml. So this is basically what it means. I gave you the answer, but this is how you have to write in the paper. Okay, then volume of glacial acetic acid by volume of solution. Now this solution, we assume that we take 100 ml whenever nothing is given. So this is 100 into 100 is there and equals to 5, right? That is clear. Okay, so this 100 and 100 cancels out. This volume of glacial acetic acid comes out to be 5 ml, and this bacha is your answer. Done. Here you should not write also percentage by percentage, because that's what this thing is for. Okay, yeah, but you have to write the answer as 5 ml. Okay, how much volume of glacial acetic acid is used? 5 ml of glacial acetic acid in 95 ml of water to make the solution 100 ml, that is your vinegar. Okay, so the risk for teaching us, but high views always be present. Okay, Teja, growth is slow. Okay, but you have to trust the process. We have taught students who like 60, 70 sometimes. No, don't please, I earn. Okay. Yes. Yes. Sanjana, your answer, what is your answer? You just wrote 5% by 100 into 100. That's not an answer. Okay, Teja. Wait, I think it's not clear. Is it better now, or have I made it worse? Yes. Great. Ma'am, I forgot to join this class. Can you please tell me next class kab hogi? Next class will be next week for 10th Thursday, and for 9th for 9th Thursday, for 10th Wednesday. Okay, every day live at 5 p.m. Math, SST, Science. For Science we have Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, yes, formula was right. Money, Sanjana, bilkul correct. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you understood this section, and then we will move on to the next part. Come on, guys. Let me know if you all have understood. Hi, Gaurav Singh. How are you? Okay, great. Hello. Ma'am, free MW. What is that? Okay. Now beta, we are done with all the NCERT questions. We have done solved NCERT questions. Okay, solved numericals done. Unsolved one numerical was given, so that we also did, right? These are what? Numericals, right? These were what? Numericals. Okay, we are done with numericals. Okay, now beta, no, this is free. YouTube, it's on YouTube, it's free, everything is free. We are coming live every day, all the material is free. Okay, now tell me, I will give you, we talked about solutions, right? And we talked about, you have studied about, in my one shot or in the previous live sessions also, we discussed about solutions, right? Suspensions, true solution, colloidal solutions, and one most important property we studied was your Tyndall effect right? Now on that, I have a question for you guys. Give me the answer to this. You have 60 seconds. You have 60 seconds. Whoever gives the right answer will have their name display on this monument. Okay, now let me know. See, choose the correct option and explain the reason for the correct and incorrect option. Okay, you just give me the correct option. Done. Which among the following mixtures show the Tyndall effect? My final comment by Aditi Mam. Okay, bye Teja. Okay, done. Now, which among the following mixtures show the Tyndall effect? That is a mixture of air and dust particles, copper sulfate and water, starch and water, acetone and water. Which of these show Tyndall effect? Which one of these show Tyndall effect? This question, Sanjana. Which one of these solutions show Tyndall effect? A and B, that is your air and dust particles, copper sulfate and water. B and D, acetone and water. A and C, C and D. Let me know fast. Okay. Yes, we have answer as A and B. Okay, we have answer as A and B. Sanjana is saying A and B. What else? Everybody else, if you have some another answer, let me know. If you want to challenge Sanjana. A and B again. Okay, Ram is also saying A and B. A and B. Ram is also saying A and B. Okay. Someone else who wants to challenge Ram and Sanjana. Okay. Those of you who told me A and B, you let me know why. Why means which particles show Tyndall effect? My first question to you, which particles show Tyndall effect? True solution, colloidal, or suspension. Out of these three kinds of particles, which ones show Tyndall effect and which ones don't? Which ones show Tyndall effect and which ones don't? First, okay, colloidal, okay, done. Then, why did you say B? Copper sulfate and water, is it a colloidal solution? Tell me. Heterogeneous, yes, of course. But you tell me, is copper sulfate and water a heterogeneous solution? Tell me. You have to think. In this class, I won't give you everything spoon-fed. I won't give you everything spoon-fed, okay? So you have to give me the answer. You have to give me the answer that does all these particles show Tyndall effect? Okay, great. Let me tell you. See, air and dust particles, these are colloidal particles, and we know light clearly comes in our room and the path of the beam becomes visible. So A definitely gives Tyndall effect. Now, copper sulfate and water, bacha, that is not a heterogeneous solution. Copper sulfate and water is rather a true solution, okay? So it does not show. It is homogeneous. It is homogeneous. So it will not show Tyndall effect. Okay, so this is wrong. Copper sulfate and water. Now starch and water on the other hand is again it's a heterogeneous solution. Starch and water bacha, heterogeneous solution. So this will show, and acetone and water are again homogeneous solution, so this won't either. A and C, yes, this will be correct, and Sanjana has changed the answer now. Okay, so Sanjana has given the correct answer. A and C is the correct option. Okay, understood. A and C are the correct options, guys. Done? Okay, let me give you another question. Okay, let's see how much of you can tell me. Okay, so here I had the explanation. Air and dust particles are what? They are colloids, so they show Tyndall effect. Copper sulfate and water, they are not colloids or suspension, they are true solutions, so they do not show Tyndall effect. Starch and water is again a colloidal solution. It's that whitish substance, whitish solution, right? So it does show Tyndall effect, and this acetone and water is again a true solution, so does not show Tyndall effect. Okay, understood? Okay, very good. Now beta, let's move on. We have few more questions for you guys. I have numericals as well, but you do this first and then we'll move on to numericals. Okay, now assertion and reason. Actually, I have some homework for you. I got the homework as numericals. I thought I will tell you, but you guys are doing fine, so I'll give that as a homework. I'll give you the hint. Okay, now assertion is solutions do not exhibit Tyndall effect. Reason is the particles in solution are larger than 100 nanometer, so they cannot scatter light. Is that correct or not? Which of these is the correct option? You have true solution, again colloidal, and you have suspension, right? You have suspension. Now out of these, what are the size of these particles? This is less than, not a sign of less than, this is your less than 10 nanometers, right? 10 or 1 was it? That was 1 nanometer, right? So this was 1 nanometer. Oh, then we have suspension that is greater than 1000 nanometers, right? 1000 nanometers, and colloidal was then in between these two, right? It was in between these two. Done? Understood? So that means 1 to 1000 nanometers, right? So solutions do not exhibit Tyndall effect. Now that is true. We just studied they don't exhibit Tyndall effect, right? But the particles in solutions are larger than 100 nanometer. That is not true, right? So this is not true. Reason is false. Fourth. Hello. Huh. Ram is saying fourth. Crafts Kingdom is saying hello. Hello. So we have the answer as fourth. Should I consider it as your answer or not? Okay. Answer is actually third. Answer is third. This is your final answer. That is, this is correct. They do not show Tyndall effect, but they do, but they are not larger than 100 nanometer. Option 3. Sanjana is saying very good. Again, Sanjana is giving the correct answer. Good, Sanjana. You have a heart from my side. Okay. Okay, now one question I'm giving all of you guys as a homework, although it's a back exercise from NCERT, but I think you can do it. This. Now, remember we did, yes, I saw your answer. Okay, remember we did mass by mass percentages, right? Now read this question. It's the same, just a little bit of length added to it. A cake recipe uses dry ingredients, namely 75 gram of sugar, 420 gram of all-purpose flour, and 5 gram of sodium hydrogen carbonate. Express the concentration of each component. See, express the concentration of each component in the mixture using an appropriate method. Now, what's the appropriate method? First, everything is in grams. Everything is in grams, so you use mass by mass percentage, right? Now you have to do this separately for each ingredient. That means mass by mass percentage of sugar, then mass by mass percentage of flour, and then beta your mass by mass percentage of what? Your sodium hydrogen carbonate, NaHCO3, right? Now how will you do it? I'll do it for sugar, right? Now ma'am, we have mass of solute, that is my sugar, mass of solution, but mass of solution is not given, so all of these things are adding, they are making a solution, right? So you just add their masses. Their masses is what? Mass of solution, so their masses is what? 75 plus 420 plus 5 plus 5, so this becomes total. This becomes total what? 500 grams, right? So mass of solution is 500 grams. Yes, mass of solute by mass of solution. Correct, Sanjana. So mass of sugar is how much? Mass of sugar is 75 gram. 75 divided by 500 into 100, right? Don't forget to mention this 100, it's very important. Now you just cancel these two zeros. 5 ones are 5, 2 is left, 25, 15. So 15 percentage M by M. That is your final answer for the concentration of sugar. Okay? My answer is correct or wrong, ma'am? Correct, Sanjana. Your answer was correct. Done? Now same you have to do for flour. You can write the answer in the comment section. Okay, everyone? And you write in the bracket floor. I will understand. Okay? And same here. Answer in comments, and in the bracket you should write NaHCO3. Understood? Okay. 15%. Yes, correct. Good. Okay, bacha. We have completed a lot of numericals, a lot of. Majorly, we completed all the solved numericals of NCERT, and we did lots of unsolved as well and unsolved questions as well. Okay, so that is it for this live. Make sure you like this session. First of all, everyone go like this session. Okay, that's very important. Okay, that's not just we do it out of randomly. Okay, it helps to reach the live to more people, right? So that's what eventually everybody wants, right? Okay, so answer in the comments. Don't give the answers now so that everybody will know, but answer in the comment section after this live ends. Okay, so that is it, bacha. If you have any doubt, let me know, or we will end this session. Okay, and similarly we will have the session on, I will write it down again. We have every Wednesday. See, every Wednesday we have a live for 5 p.m. for 10th class. Okay, 10th class. And every Thursday again at 5 p.m. we have live for 9th class, and we are covering whole science. If you have any doubts, any concepts, all the questions, all the PYQs, everything will be covered. Okay, miss you, will miss you too. Okay, bye, tata, bye everyone, bye. also the notes, wait, okay, the notes for this session will be available in the link below. Okay, there will be a link in some time, because I have solved all these questions. The link will be provided in some time. Okay, so you can get the link for all the solved numericals as well with the questions. Okay, now